Hello and welcome back to another great Sports Playground video. Today we're going to be ranking the top 10 of my favorite team, your New York Mets. Now, as you guys probably know, Mason here is a Phillies fan, but we're going to be ranking the Mets because we really know where that's... We all know he's actually a Mets fan, because there's no way someone can actually be a Phillies fan. That's not possible. So we're first going to start off with a couple honorable mentions. We're just going to talk about two to start. At the very end, we'll talk a little more. But starting off our first our first two is going to be Tom Seaver and David Wright. Now, these guys were super close to making the list, but we did not see enough of them over the course of their seasons. We know they had a good career, but we did not see one season that really stood out to them. We wanted to see a little more out of those two those two scrubs. They were close, though. Now, starting off at number 10, you have Jacob deGrom, a two-time Cy Young winner. Got off one of the great starts ever last season until he got injured, trying to beat the ERA record. But again, it was ruined by injuries. Now, he's still a young player and can still have time to grow, but he's already got a spot on this top 10, but barely getting in on this list. And we're going to go to number 9, Yoenis Cespedes.
So Yoenis Cespedes had an incredible career with the Mets, including a 279 average, 883 OPS, 76 home runs, and 136 OPS plus. But he was undoubtedly a great player for this team, and he had many incredible moments, most notably including the 2015 World Series home run, but really, most especially, the wild boar incident where he got injured, the time that he fell off a horse, retiring 1 week into the 2020 season, and then going missing 2 days later, and eventually retiring the next day after that. After that, we have Bartolo Colon, another one of the greats. Really, all you need to know is he did the impossible against the Padres.
Colon looking for his first hit of the year. He drives one! Deep left field! Back goes Upton! Back near the wall! It's out of here! Bartolo has done it! The impossible has happened!
Of course. Now we have, I think, in my opinion, me and Mason debated about this, potentially the number 1, the future number 1, but he's a young player, and that's at number 7, Collin Lee. Now, this man started an impeccable season. It's undoubtedly one of the best starts ever in Major League Baseball. He went 0 for 8 with 8 strikeouts. That is hard to do. Me and Mason, ordinary people, could possibly struggle with that. But no, he got it done. He got it done with lightning. Now, he did have a pretty downside where he did have an RBI double. Not great, but he still those numbers he showed in the beginning of his career, after that he did get sent down. We're looking to see a little more of him later, but again, he did get sent down after that game. Not a shock after hitting that double. There's not much need for him.
So, following Collin Lee, we have Rick Porcello, one of the greats of all time. He had an incredible Cy Young 2016 season where he had the most important stat. He led, not ERA, he led in wins. I have never heard a more important stat, and sure enough, he's right there at the top of it, making him eons above Jacob deGrom, even if it is only one Cy Young compared to his 2. He followed that up with 2 incredible seasons, both of them sub-5 ERA, and then a nice 2019 with a 5.52 ERA, even better. Then he took his talents to New York, where he was able to post the highest ERA, nearly 6, making him a top 1 starter in Major League Baseball. And the next player on the list is Devin Mesoraco. Have you seen him? Well, there's your reason.
Now we get into the nitty-gritty of the New York Mets. The people that when you think of the New York Mets, that's the guy you think of. Now, he's coming in at number 4, got cut recently, but there's a good reason for that. We'll get that a little later. Number 4, Robinson Cano. Now, after an incredible run with the Mariners and the Yankees, Brodie Van Wagenen decided to take the safest route and getting a true all-star in Robinson Cano. Not only did he have great stats that proved that he deserved over $20 million, he was fully rested after a nice suspension year. After 2 decent years with the Mets, he decided he needed more rest to bring his best to the New York Mets. So he decided to get suspended not for 81 games, for the entire season. The smartness in Robinson Cano. Now, he started the year batting under the Mendoza line, which means he was batting under 200. So the Mets realized that Robinson Cano had already done too much for them, and that they were asking too much. They decided to give him retirement for the rest of his life, cutting him after only 3 seasons and still having to pay him around roughly $35 million, what he deserved because he was obviously the reason the Mets did so well in 2019 and 2020. Now, here for number 3.
We have Bobby Bonilla. If you don't know who Bobby Bonilla is, look him up. But all you really need to know is he hasn't played for the Mets since before 2000, and he is still getting paid until 2035.
And the last 2 on this list, again, a little debatable, but we are going to be talking about Ike Davis. Now, Ike Davis is the embodiment. When you think of New York Mets, Ike Davis is the guy you want. He went through the tough times through the New York Mets, really carried them. Yes, they had their David Wrights and the Daniel Murphys, but no, Ike Davis was the guy that helped them through the 2012-2015 season. Ike Davis then went to the Pirates, which obviously he could not shine like he did with the Mets. He had to retire, but no, Ike Davis was what really represented the New York Mets as a ball club, and I will forever remember him as one of the best players to ever play this game. And coming at number 1, of all the spots that were negotiated between me and Mason, this one was the clear-cut winner, and that is Jed Lowry. Now, this man got paid 2 years, got paid $20 million for a total of 2 years, so $10 million each year, and he had a total of 7 at-bats, 3.5 bats per year, $10 million. That's over a couple million dollars an at-bat, and got paid 4 of those times. He got on base once on a walk. That's skill. That is clear skill. Now, to finish out our video, Mason is going to come up and give us a few honorable mentions that just missed out on the list.
So here we have a list of really some of the greatest players that the Mets organization has ever seen. Some of the best contracts, some of the most skilled, some of the best looking, some of the best hitting. We have Jason Bay, incredible contract back in the day. Then Kevin Plawecki, beautiful, beautiful catcher, incredible hitter, incredible defender, current Red Sox catcher, but really you don't care about him because he's not on the Mets anymore. Next up, J.D. Davis, just doubles Davis, just double plays Davis. Literally one of the greatest the Mets have ever seen. Then followed by Michael Kadire, yet another incredible contract. Then Rajay Davis. Could you think of any man more Mets than Rajay Davis? Because I cannot. Next up, we have Noah Syndergaard, but not the pitching, just the looks. Really just the hair, and that's why the Mets like Noah Syndergaard. Then we have Edwin Diaz, 9th inning legend. You can count on him to give up 2 runs anytime you need him. He is one of the greatest closers the Mets will ever see. Really, Mariano Rivera, who? Moving on, we have Keon Broxton. Keon Broxton, incredible defense, incredible hitting, really. Better hitter. I would consider sub-Mendoza line. That's where you start. That's where you start with Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers all hit below 200. Next up, Ruben Tejada. Sad to see him break his leg, but really, if he didn't, we all know that the Mets would have swept every game that he played for them. He never would have lost a game on the Mets, but unfortunately, sad to see him go. Next up, we have Luis Castillo, one of the greatest infield defenders, especially when the ball is way up in the air late in the game. When you really need him to catch it, he's right there for you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Today's video is sponsored by thejerseynation.com. Visit their website and use my code SPORTSPG to get 10% off on your order. That's thejerseynation.com, and that's code SPORTSPG for 10% off. Thank you so much.